I've been in the car business since I was 15 years old, and always was fascinated by it. And I probably realized that this was my calling when I had my first success turning around at a struggling dealership when I was 19. So, and I just had the bug. And then from there, I built my first store in 1995. And the second one was I opened in 2005. And then from there, I just kept, I loved putting deals together and buying things and fixing them. So that's really what I've been doing. And I'm about to close on my 15th location in 2 weeks in Cleveland, Ohio. So it's exciting. So I think, I think I just realized I was entrepreneurial probably at a young age. It kind of just happened. I mean, it was a struggling dealership that my dad owned, and because of the improvement in the business, we were building a new store, so we partnered in it, and so we were partners for many years in that location, and then the second location, and then from there, I just sort of ventured out on my own, started buying stores. Nervous. I mean, I looked at like, okay, I have a good thing going. Do I want to screw it up? And so I would say I was nervous, and I probably was very nervous in my business for many years because I wasn't in a position to have a miss. I didn't. So I got to a point where I was acquiring so many stores and really wasn't organized to do it, but I was a deal junkie and I knew they were good deals, so I couldn't help myself. But I really was that's how I ended up with EOS, candidly, because I got to a point where I had a bunch of stores. I think I had 8 stores at the time, and we were definitely disorganized in my mind. Probably not in other people's minds, but in my mind, we were disorganized, and we certainly weren't in a position to keep growing like that. When I built my first store, it seemed like a lot of money back in the day, in 1995. So I was pretty scared, and I was thinking to myself, like every day when I went home, is this really something smart I should be doing, or should I just stay conservative and stay where I'm at and never do anything different? And somebody gave me some advice a long time ago: do something every day that scares you. And so I've always thought like that, and so. I don't think it's possible to, as an entrepreneur, to get really successful without taking on risk. I got to a point where I was acquiring so many stores and really wasn't organized to do it, but I was a deal junkie and I knew they were good deals, so I couldn't help myself. But I really was that's how I ended up with EOS, candidly, because I got to a point where I had a bunch of stores. I think I had 8 stores at the time, and we were definitely disorganized in my mind. Probably not in other people's minds, but in my mind, we were disorganized. So, I mean, nobody floats through life successfully without doing something that's risky. Maybe just use educated risk, stay in your swim lane and, understand your business, every nuance you can, and hire the best people you can. So I would say in my case, probably hiring the wrong people and crystallizing roles and responsibilities probably were 2 big mistakes that I've made. I think you have to have a process in place to help you identify if you have the right people or you don't, or you have the right processes or different things like that. I mean, for me, if somebody has the ability to sign up with EOS or something like it early, that would be a huge, I think I would have grown even faster had I started the EOS process, say even 5 years sooner. But, you can't go backwards. So I would say just having some kind of organized, whether it's a business coach or somebody to make sure that your all your business that you're doing is in the right lane. I had people I looked up to, and certainly I've always looked up to my dad. He, gave great business advice. I have some other, corporate leaders that were close friends of mine that I admired their success. So I don't know necessarily anybody in my business that really helped me transform my business, but others outside of my business. How I ended up connecting with Gino was I was in YPO for many years, and a couple of people in my YPO forum group recommended Gino. And then I ran into a couple of people that were really emphatic how he transformed their business. And so that's how it started. It's been almost 6 years now. Ever since I was a little kid, I like when, we'd have a snow day at school, I would go to work with my dad and, washing cars and working in the parts department and cleaning shelves and all that kind of stuff. So I was always a hard worker. And then from there, I started selling cars when I was 15. So I've just always had a fascination with it. When I sold cars, I had to be the top salesperson. When I ran a dealership, I had to be the best at running a dealership. So I just liked it. So I really never thought about doing anything else again. I woke up every day thinking that people aren't doing their jobs. How do I get them to do their job? What's the best motivator? I had, crises that would come up in my business, and I'd be the one to handle the issue. I candidly just didn't have the right integrator in my business, and I was good at buying stores, and I got to a point where we were too big for me to run the day-to-day operations myself. And I had, an individual that worked with me for a long time that just really wasn't, the business outgrew him as well. So, that's when I went to EOS and talked to Gino, because I was living the nightmare. Like, I was nervous all the time. I didn't sleep at night. I was, chronically thinking about my business. I'd go on vacation, be on the phone the whole time. I feel like in the last 4 years, we've been on a really amazing trajectory, and making some great acquisitions and integrating them into our business without any issues. We're able to make some big improvements in the businesses we bought, and we've been fortunate enough to hire really good talent. And so I feel like, unless there's something I don't know, I feel like I'm sort of living the entrepreneurial dream right now. I guess I never really thought my business would be where it is today. It's been recent, maybe in the last year or two, where, I realized, how much we've grown the business and how big it is, and, where we stand up against other dealer groups in the country. And so now, we're a recognized, everybody knows who we are in the car business. So it's, that's pretty cool. I would tell you that 5 years ago, 6 years ago, probably very few people around the country knew who we were. And we're not done yet. We're going to keep going, but it's definitely in a place where I feel like we are making some serious traction. Well, again, I think depending on how, the size of their business, if they could afford to hire like an implementer from EOS, I would say that that's something that somebody should start right away. Because I think like I said, it would have made a really big difference in my business. So I tell everybody that has a business that that's something they should do, no matter how successful they think they are. Like I said, I think that, I wished I had had that advice, 10 years ago, not 5 years ago. I would say, obviously keep your eyes and ears open, and I would say life is a contact sport. When you meet somebody, you just never know what that could turn into. So, don't be afraid to ask for a meeting with somebody that might have an impact on your life or your business. I give several examples in my career where, thank God I made that phone call to maybe a dealer that might be selling, and, maybe call them back again. And maybe, different chance meetings with people that turned into something really amazing. I just had it happen recently. I bumped into somebody in a restaurant that I didn't know. We started chatting, and I ended up buying his business.